Today and bringing your loved ones. And Brother Richard mentioned a couple of things about some of the people that, and please keep eating. You don't have to look at me. I'm used to people eat when I'm talking to meetings and stuff. But I just want to mention one or two things about some of the people that are here today. And I also want to mention the, get my tissue. Bobby Jackson and Anita wanted to come. And just a typical thing, he's had a bad week. He wanted to come so bad. He's been talking about it all week. She's at home by herself, even though we offered to go help her get him out of bed and get him up. She couldn't. She said he's just too weak to get out of the house. That's what we're dealing with. Jean Hunter had a reaction to a flu shot and sick. She wanted to come. She's been talking about it all week. She couldn't come. So, keep these people in your prayers, and the caregivers and all that you see here. A phone call them, Facebook them. Hey, would you like for me to just come sit for an hour? Or, how are you doing? And then you got John David Hall. He's at home. He can't come today. He would love to be here today. You got Carol, that's a caregiver. It's a lot for her to get him up, get him to church, and right now he can't come. And she comes as often as she can. My mother's a caregiver. There's a lot of people in here that are caregivers, or caregiver. And just because they don't reach out and they don't contact you and say, it's one of those days, I need a break. Or I need to go sit with my daughter at lunch and have a conversation for an hour with my daughter, or my spouse. Can you just come and sit? Be open to that. We've got contacts here if you need to know how to get in touch with anybody. If you're not normally in this church, reach out to me. We love you and we want to help you. But like Miss Evelyn Carter, I remember seeing her sing in the choir. And Roxanne said, Miss Evelyn, you've always loved to sing in the choir, right? Miss Evelyn, you love singing in the choir. She was an alto. She sang alto. We had a quartet at one time. Miss Evelyn was in the quartet. Kitchen committee. I go see her. She still says this is her church. And so thank you so much. Roxanne and Jackie and Ricky, Miss Evelyn's in Magnolia Trace. She's getting full-time care, but it's still, go see her. It's such a blessing to go in there. We took 6 fidget quilts that our Sewing for Charity made to them, and they have 59 dementia patients, and they would love as many fidget quilts as we can provide. Miss Charlotte, I've enjoyed coming and seeing you so much. We took some fidget quilts that some of the ladies in the church made to Christy Care the other day. And you'll see some pictures on the table. I just wanted to see some of the things that the people in the church are doing. And Larita had something that she wanted to say about Christy Care and the fidget quilts.
I can't tell you how touched that Christy and Dee and the other ladies that work at Christy Care were when y'all made the fidget quilts and had them brought up there. Christy wanted to come today, but she is also a caretaker for her mother. That's how Christy Care got started, because her mother, she was taking the sole caretaker of her mother. They just opened up a new one out in Harvest, or going to around Thanksgiving. But Christy wanted to come today, and she said if she couldn't come, she wanted me to tell you that she appreciated the fidget quilt so much that she'd be willing to provide a half day of respite care for any of the caretakers, where if you'd like to bring your loved one up there she would provide a half-day care at no charge, just to show her appreciation for that. And, I have to tell you, Darlene's been up there, Sissy and Mr. Bill have come and visited, Mom goes up there, and it's just amazing. So, thank you so much, and
Kike came with me a couple weeks, right here, Kike, she came, you weren't there that when we came
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
And you know, Yolanda and Loretta and their families, they got, Miss Charlotte and Christy Care, and then they still have her on the weekends, and, Miss Charlotte was I remember you on the kitchen committee, and you were also, the treasurer of the church for a time being, and she was also a caregiver, with a husband, getting him up and down, out of the bed. John David Hall, Carol is his caregiver, and her mother, Miss Jean, has illnesses from time to time. John David Hall, a former General Assembly moderator, minister, counselor. He would love to be here right now. Miss Jean Hunter, her husband was the minister at Good Shepherd for many years. She had about a month in the hospital, ill. Freeze was trying to work, go to the hospital, as some of you all caregivers go see her. He had to hire somebody to come and stay with her for a while. This is real world. And a lot of us that grew up in the church, you know, we are there. And, you know, Miss Jean, she, I didn't know her in this church, but she's been coming the last couple of weeks. But Freeze said yesterday, Tim, it's just, she just can't do it. Bobby Jackson, many of you all that were in the church for many years, he's not very well today. Like I said, any of you all remember Manford, the adult special needs? Yeah. Bobby Jackson would keep him for 2 hours at the church. He was very aggressive. Bobby would take the church van and go and get him, bring him to the church, and keep him at this church for 2 hours so his parents could go and have a meal together or spend 2 hours alone. That's the kind of people from this church. And he would drive the church van. And Anita has him at her house now by herself. She's not well. Jim Parker, Connie, his oldest daughter, wrote something about him. Said that Mr. Jim's been an elder, Sunday school teacher. He built this church. His company did. All of his children were married in this church and baptized. His wife, Miss Doris, passed away in 1996 of cancer. She was a member here for 30 years. These are the foundation. This is always your church. Come back anytime. And if you need help getting here, give us a phone call. Call me and I'll help get y'all here. Bill Manus is here today. I haven't seen him in years. Maintenance. Anything need to be done with the church? Bill Manus did it. Bill Manus. Correct, Bill? Yep. Sunday school, elder, drove church van. Just wonderful people.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Bill Manus is my painting buddy.
Yeah.
Bill Manus is we were painting buddies. We painted all these windows around here. 1 year it's all the doors. Where is Bill?
There it is.
You remember that, Bill? He had me hanging out that window. He would open those windows and I'd hang out. And he'd stand out there. We had a good time, didn't we? So every time I see him, I have to bring my painting buddies. What we're not for hiring.
Wendell and Billy Wendell just, God saved him in the hospital a couple of weeks ago. I mean, the church prayed for him. And Sonia and Eddie and Neil are their caregivers. Caretakers.
We take them around.
They take them around. Whatever.
Brittany, stop.
Eddie's just got over knee surgery. Wendell, the special services and the communions that he used to have just stuck in my mind so much. Just the special services and the reunions stuff that we used to have at church, and just such a wonderful pastor. And Miss Billy was always right in the middle of everything we're doing. Great seamstress. I heard that she made just about all their clothes and made him a suit, and that she was actually too busy to make something for her. And Mr. Wendell, he made a new outfit for his wife. Yeah, he's saying, yeah. And Billy still comes to Sewing for Charity. She can't see that well to sew anymore, but she's still using her talents. And some of the things that she has made is going out to help other people. So as the preacher said today, there's always a way to keep serving, right? Is there anybody else? I know some of you all have been caregivers of sick children, or your in-laws, or your parents, or Jenna helps Miss Mac many times get here, and there's something special here. Miss Mac wants to get here, but if I haven't mentioned it, anybody else, it's because I don't know. And please let me know. But thank you so much today. I hope it's been as much of a, yes, Loretta?
And I apologize for not saying it sooner, but we appreciate the pigeon quilt that the church made for Mother. You really lit up when you saw it. And we appreciate y'all doing that for her.
So enjoy the dessert. Good to see you all. Enjoy the fellowship and stay as long as you want. Thank you.